Welcome to the eSales Podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering the art of online selling. Whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, digital marketer, or sales professional, this podcast is the passport to dominating the digital marketplace. Today we talk to Heather Holmes, who is the founder and CEO of Publicity for Good, a PR firm that helps companies build their brands through getting more media exposure. She talks about how media exposure helps reach new audiences, drives referral traffic, builds credibility, and how you can actually leverage that information in your marketing, in your advertisement to actually scale your business to multi-millions. She also gives you tips and tricks as to how to prepare for media opportunities and talks about building personal brands versus business brands. Now, if you're really interested in getting more opportunities on the media, this is the perfect podcast episode for you. My name's V, your eSales podcast host. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the show. Today we have Heather Holmes today, who is the CEO of Publicity for Good, and America's #1 PR firm. And she helps purpose-driven brands and industry experts really scale their sales through PR across America and in the world as well. She's got international clients, and I'm really, really excited to hear all about her story and see how she's running a 7-figure company with 2 kids under 2 and another one on the way. So Heather, so happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Heather, I think I'm very excited to hear more about your story and where you've come from and how you help your clients. So the microphone's over to you. Go for gold.
So I have been a publicist for over 12 years. That means that I get people featured in the media, TV, national media, articles, magazines, and podcasts. And I first got my start at an advertising agency as a publicist, and I fell in love with PR. And quickly I realized, wow, I'm booking 35 interviews every week. I'm loving getting people in the media. I'm seeing how it's growing their business. So I was there for 3.5 years, and kind of to understand my background, my dad and uncle were really successful entrepreneurs. So I saw, it was like being around other people building their own legacy. My dad died on Christmas, my senior year of high school, and then my uncle died a couple years later. And I thought I would want to be an entrepreneur. And with them passing, I'm like, well, starting a business is like my connection, my legacy to them. And then when I was at the agency at the time, in my early 20s, I was doing network marketing, right? There's like things for everything, selling candles and Tupperware and lotions and all the things. But that's really where I started to learn and personal development and reaching out to people and, to learn. When I was at the ad agency doing PR, I was securing the most amount of publicity, bringing on the most amount of clients. I only say that in that I loved what I was doing, right? I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I loved everything, and I never thought I would leave. But they gave me an ultimatum, and they didn't like that I had a side hustle. So they said, hey, you can work full-time for us or do Beachbody. It was network marketing. And with network marketing, I was only bringing in a couple $100s. So it's not like it was taking up time. It was on my free time and all those things. So I ultimatum, and June 15, 2015, I quit. They took back 2 weeks of my pay. They took back my laptop. I'm home. And then I got a job at a gym, just a minimum wage job, working full time. And then slowly over time, I started building my own PR agency, my own PR company. Now, How did that happen? I was in a Facebook group of female entrepreneurs. And there was a female entrepreneur who did websites. And, you're in masterminds and communities and you kind of what you used to do and all those things. And she asked me if I would secure some segments for her clients so she could add it to their website. And I'm like, sure. And she's like, I'll pay you $100 per segment earned. I'm like, okay. I took the challenge, wrote my pitch, sent it out to media contacts in a market where I knew no one. And I literally secured 2 TV segments in a couple hours time. And it was that moment where I knew I had to continue doing PR because and it was that moment where I'm like, okay, this is a business I can grow. And I got more joy. The return was way better than network marketing, and it was my own thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build my own PR company. I'm gonna build my own PR firm. I was full time at the gym for 3.5 years while I built my firm, and I hired a virtual assistant. That's really all it was for the first 3.5 years. And I kept working full time at the gym. All the money I funneled back into my company, my PR firm. And it was 3.5 years in. I had a press tour that I was managing for a client in LA. I got a ticket because I didn't want to be rushed on the press tour. And, I ended up staying. I had two that lived in San Diego. Their roommate was moving out. It was like $400 or $500 for rent. And I'm like, I can do this, right? I was like 25 or 26 at the time. I had a kind of successful business, maybe a couple thousand a month, but I was single. I was ready for a change of pace. So I stayed in San Diego, and that's really where the business started to scale based on proximity of I could get on the train, go to LA to speak. I could just, at the hat, I could go to different places and speak and meet people. So that's really where a lot of my networking began. And over time, I really posted client wins on social media. So a lot of my clients were referrals or seeing me post wins on social media over time. Then that February, I met Austin, my husband now. And then, he was in the Navy. He got out of the Navy. We lived full time in an Airstream. And then we had first $1 million year, the year of the pandemic. And it was really me being able to focus on PR, client delivery, publicist, and him really leading more of the casting, the vision, the team, and the hiring, the systems, the operation, the finances, me more on the sales side. We've been able to scale. We're now a team of 40. We work with over 300 brands and clients all around the world. And it's fun. This is is really growing businesses by getting in the media.
I love that so much. That is so impressive. And I love that story of how you literally started from from ground zero, which is love to hear. And I think a lot of the audience would love to hear that as well. And that it is possible. And you've grown your team from you and a VA or just you all the way through to a team of 40. So incredible work, Heather. Really, really cool stuff.
Thank you. It's not me though, for sure. It's definitely helping. It's definitely a team effort, but there's some happens now that I'm not even a part of, which I actually like because I get to focus on what I love, which is getting people in the media, following trends, building relationships, getting better at my craft.
Yeah, amazing. And so you were saying, you're getting them in the media. I mean, even thought about potentially being in the media and that as a channel of growing their business. What would you say would be the benefits of getting in the media?
So there's so many benefits. The first benefit is that you are reaching new audiences. So yes, you have to have social media, but you could do one TV segment and reach 10 million people. Your product could be featured in a listicle and reach 50 million people. So you're reaching new audiences, number one. Number two, when we reach out to the media, we're driving referral traffic to your website because people are checking out your website when we send out the pitch. Another benefit is you're able to really be seen as more of a credible brand, agency, or company. You can add all the media logos to your website. You can be seen as a thought leader. Instead of you just promoting yourself on social media, other people are promoting you, they're interviewing you, and all those things. Other benefits are when people go to your agency or company, there's press features featuring you. And then when people are paid traffic and you incorporate your press and TV segments into your paid traffic, it absolutely should lower the cost of acquiring a customer because you're taking your raw TV segment and you're using it in your retargeting. I have some really real world that are probably my favorite, but There was an entrepreneur that worked with back in 2016. He's really well known in the ClickFunnels community. His name's Dan Henry. At the time, he was doing 6 figures, and he essentially was a master at Facebook ads. He was helping people with Facebook ads. He was like leading masterminds and selling courses. He was just doing 6 figures. So we built this story headline, Pizza Boy to 6 figures. June 30th was National Social Media Day. So we used that as our hook. Reach out to Orlando media, which is where he lived. He was on a huge radio, 2 TV segments in the Orlando market. He took all of those images. He put it on his page. He integrated it into his retargeting. He added all the press features to his funnel. He then changed his profile on social media to him on TV. People who were on the fence of working with him worked with him. And then with the power of then Business Insider did 2 stories in the same week. He then utilized all the publicity in his marketing, in his retargeting, on his funnel. And that's how he scaled to 7 figures. Taking the power of new audiences, credibility, publicity, and logos, integrating it into his funnel, and then integrating it with paid traffic, he was able to scale. And he is probably, I mean, I don't know, he's probably 10 million plus now. Like, he's crushing it. And then another entrepreneur that we worked with for a while, she didn't really have any fancy funnels. She primarily sold through Instagram, confidence coach who sold digital products and ebooks, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and those things. She just wanted to get in the media. There's some people who dream of reaching millions, making an impact, and being on stages. So we started reaching out to the media for her. That was some local media, smaller media, because you have to start somewhere. About 60 days in, there was an article that featured her, an article she wrote that ended up getting syndicated and picked up by other news outlets. Then from there, Martha Stewart did a feature on her, a feature about how to be organized. And then from all of the articles and interviews, even the small interviews, everything adds up. It's the snowball effect. Probably 7 months in, the Today Show Google search coach, she ranked to the top from all the publicity. And that's how they chose her to be on their show for a segment they were doing. Her business grew by 40%. She increased her prices. Now she has people wanting to work with her. And now when we even get her in the media, she uses that as content. So she'll go on TV, she'll go in studio, she'll get a reel, like her engagement will increase. People will comment. And from that, she gets a lot of clients. Another example is just a female entrepreneur did one TV segment on a network in her market. And her social media engagement increased by 60% because her content was her at the station, right? It makes you stand out. So there are so many metrics that I'm seeing of how publicity is making you stand out, grow your business, reach more people, impact more people.
Amazing. This is so good. And I love the examples that you're giving because I think they're really like tangible, and it's like, wow, this can actually happen by getting on the media and getting the eyes onto your brand. So I think this is fantastic. So I like building on this, and with the coaches and with the brands that you've worked with, what are some of the key potential challenges that a business faces when they are to media? Like, it could be immediately, it could be on. Are there any challenges, or is it just win-wins?
I've never seen challenges. The challenges come in when I see that the entrepreneur is very, very focused on, I want entrepreneur, I want Forbes, I want that national media. And that really creates a block. I've seen people who are more committed to doing the work and doing whatever it takes in every interview, right? That's when I see national media comes in. It's when people are like, people come in and they think they're ready for national media, but they haven't done the work to earn it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And that, like if Good Morning America tomorrow, Like, you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. If people Google your name, you want to be featured in different places. Number two, you want to make sure that you're practiced and rehearsed and that your message is down. Number three, you want to have clarity on what your call to offer is. So it's a couple things. You need to be practiced and have interviews under your belt, number one. Number two, you don't want to look like a one-hit wonder. And number three, like, the people who are the ones that are focused on, like, they're focused on impact, right? So every opportunity to get in front of your audience, they're maximizing. And what do I mean by that? They're on a podcast, they're taking a photo with the host, they're putting on an IG story, so thankful to be on the podcast. They have a live link, they're sending it to their email list. A mistake that I see is people do all of this media, but then they're sitting on it. Where the business growth happens outside of reaching new audiences and getting clients from your media, it's integrating it into your marketing. It's adding the press logos to your website in your funnel. It's incorporating into social media. It's using that blog post where you were featured on the business website as a resource to send a lead saying, hey, happy Friday. I know you're not together yet, but I wanted to share this article, this feature that I was featured about how to scale your business with social media. You can check it out here, right? There's the phase in the media, but then there's the phase of implementing it from a lead and marketing and scale perspective. That has to happen.
Yeah, wow. So it's not just about on and then your job is done, you're saying. It's about leveraging what you were on, like the media, and then using that whole entire content, like putting it through, filtering it through your audience and letting people know that you're on the media. And then, yeah, okay. So I guess kind of a lot about how people just go on to, like, America's Got Talent or Australians Got Talent, and then they kind of win the show and then they don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So do you have any tips and tricks for people kind of preparing themselves to get ready to get them a featured show?
So it's a couple different things. You need to have clarity of messaging. So if you're going to be doing an interview, like, what are your core topics, your core expert topics that you want to talk about? Now, if you were to want to do local TV and talk about funnels, we have to think differently, because if you're on mainstream news to consumers, someone's going to think a funnel is something you use to put oil or gas in your car or in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Like, that messaging is not mainstream. So there we have to pull back the onion and talk about, how you're an entrepreneur and how you're a mom and all of those things. So we first have to have clarity of, like, what are your expert topics that you want to talk about? And then what's your story as a person? So for me, I talk about being a mompreneur, talk about, living full-time in building a 7-figure business. Like, I have personal topics about that are me. And yes, they say the Heather, the founder of Publicity for Good. And I get to mention, like, we're the #1 firm, right? And I get to say that, but, you have to have clarity of your expert topics that you want to talk about. And then what are you willing to talk about on a personal level? And then you have to bridge the gap of relevancy and what's happening in the news, right? So it's winter in Australia, it's summer in the US. So you need to take your messaging and you need to align it with the news cycle and topics and what's going on. So that could be National Social Media Day, Mother's Day, Small Business Week, the holidays, like all those things. Like, you have to take your messaging and connect it to the news cycle and relevancy to be relevant. If we're talking about mainstream media, TV, radio, print, magazines. Now, podcast is different. It's very much tactical and your hero's journey. And typically for podcasts, the flow of it is the same when the questions are the same. But on, like, the mainstream national news side, it's more human interest, hero's journey, versus you going on talking about your expertise in business.
Yeah, okay. Now, if you're ready to take your skills to the next level and elevate your sales online, then eSales is the perfect school for you. In this school, we talk about the tools, the strategies to automate your sales process and effortlessly attract clients online. I also believe that sales should be fun, easy, lighthearted, And I'll teach you exactly how to do that step by step to actually make sales calls enjoyable and handle objections with confidence. Now, if this sounds like you, if this is something that you truly think that you need in your business right now to scale it to the next level, please sign up and put your name down onto our waiting list. We currently have a list at the moment, but you'd be the first person to hear about it when our enrollment opens. You'll find a link into the waiting list in the description below, so I look forward to seeing you in the school. I think what I would kind of want to hear from that is, like, you talked about being a entrepreneur and, building your 7-figure business, actual company, right? So it's kind of like in my head from it's like your own personal Heather brand versus your own company brand. So being on the media, is it building both, or is it more focused on building Heather?
It's both, right? Like
Mm.
you need to separate yourself from your business. You need to have articles about your business to position your business as the best. And when I first started my company, I named it after myself. And then I changed it to Publicity for Good because now we're a full-time team of 40 and not everyone's going to get to work with me. And it's more about our clients, our transformation, and what we do.
Mm.
And then there's Heather on the side, right? What happens if you want to sell your company? You need to still have your personal brand to continue to build your personal brand for you to pivot. Or what if you want to invest in other companies or all those things? So you need to build them separately, but they feed into each other.
Yeah, I get it. Because I think there's like a bit of a toss. I build my personal brand, do I build my brand sometimes? I'm thinking, do I post more on my personal? And I know that gets more traction and more views and more likes, like, easily, versus my company brand, So I think there's that too, without getting too mixed up with your personal stuff as well as your business stuff. So do you have any suggestions around that?
You definitely keep them separate. For your business, it would be more business podcasts, you being a contributor on different websites, you writing e-news on LinkedIn, ensuring that you have blog content on your website, and your personal brand would be more like local media in your market.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. And any other tips and tricks that you might recommend as well, or like kind of differentiating between the two, between business only versus you as well?
So other tips you can do is you can look at your competitors and where they've been featured. You can go on Spotify and type in the name of other people that are running similar companies to see where they've been featured and reach out to those podcasts too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also suggest like Apple News or setting up alerts for your industry so you can stay ahead of trends for your industry.
Yeah. Okay. And so staying ahead of trends, how important is that for a company to build their brand?
It's important. It's important so that you have understanding of on from a potential client sales cycle perspective. When you're pitching the media, it's because if there's like a wildfire or something happening, you shouldn't pitch that. You can use trends to pivot offers and or even talk about in your e-news or social media too.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. So really good tip that people can use as well. Thank you, Heather.
Yes.
Fantastic. So I think we've spoken a lot about, the tactical side around building brands, getting on media, which is exciting. But I'd love to know more about you, Heather, and your vision for, publicity for good.
So for Publicity for Good, we've been a company for 8.5 years. We're a full-time team of 40. We've worked with over 300 brands and clients. Really, our vision and goal is build it to be the #1 communications and PR firm for purpose-driven brands. That's looking at scaling other agencies, just providing the best service. But we also realize too that not everyone, where they are in business, like have 3,000 to 5,000 plus a month to invest in PR. But we saw the benefits of how it's helping entrepreneurs. So because we wanted to make PR more accessible to amazing people and brands that are good in the world and have a good message, we created Signal Raptor, which is PR service with a software to make that more accessible. We also have a software and service that I'm really excited about. So, our vision is to really help everyone. Every entrepreneur across the world is getting in media, for 80% of what you would typically pay an agency. So that's the vision.
Love that. That's so good. And yeah, PR should be accessible to everyone because I think everyone does have an amazing message and a story as well. So tell us more about that software that you were talking about, Heather.
Yeah, so if you go to signalraptordinosaur.com, you will see all about it, but it's service first, software second. And every single week we pitch you to the media. We write an article a month and get it placed. We have monthly calls where we bring in experts, right? Like, it's just providing PR for you at 80% of what you typically invest, right? Like I said, like, it's thousands of dollars a month, and it is a long-term program, 6 months, 12 months, beyond. It's just a monthly subscription, and the results that people are getting, the community that's happening is incredible. So really excited about it.
Oh, that's amazing. I think it's quite a different offer, and that's really, really cool. So what I'll do is I'll actually drop the link in the description so that way anyone
Perfect.
can kind of visit it and then have a look, check it out, which is amazing. So that kind of brings me on to my next question is how do people find out more information about you? And how do people work
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah, so you can go to signalraptor.com. You could go to publicityforgood.com, or you absolutely could find me on media at Heather Holmes, which you can put in the chat or in the notes. But if anyone has questions, a bunch of free to help people understand how PR will grow their business. We've been doing this for over a decade, and we're going to be doing this for a really long time. So I believe that getting in the fastest way that you can grow your impact, grow your audience, your community, and your business.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Heather. I really, really enjoyed talking to you today. And then one thing I'd love to hear from you, one tip to the audience that they can do right now to boost their impact.
Yeah, I mean, there's everything from looking at hiring parents or moms and dads or veterans or any of those things. There's a company called B1G1, and you can go to b1g1.com, and you literally can add a for good component to your business right away. So that means like literally like if anyone schedules this call, you can donate, right? Like you can donate 10 cents, like any new you can donate, and you get to choose causes that are aligned with you, whether it's entrepreneurship or farming or kids. It's a really easy way to add a for good component to your business. And you can connect what you do in your business to different causes. So that's like someone could literally go to the website right now, sign up, implement it into their business, and make a difference.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And literally, it's like you could literally, every new client, you could feed a family or you could chicken or whatever you want to do. So
yeah.
it makes it easy.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. And I'm really big on like impact and social impact as well. And I think, later on down the vision, it'll be like impacting other people in not for who aren't as opportunity, not wasn't like people who aren't as fortunate as us to actually have these opportunities to actually be able to build their own business and chase their dreams. So thank you so much, Heather. I've really enjoyed that. I've have all the information and all the links in the description below. And I also want to say congratulations. You're having a newborn soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's okay. When are they due?
Yeah, in about a month, give or take.
Congratulations. Are you
Thank
going to
you so
continue working for a little bit, or are you having a bit of a break?
So I've never really taken a maternity leave. This time I'm planning on like 3 to 4 weeks, not doing any external, really any calls, and just focusing on feeding baby and learning about PR and just like doing what I love,
Yeah.
But planning on like I'm really doing any like which I'm for the space.
Yeah. So you deserve it. Focus on that. Congratulations once again, Heather.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you listening into the show today. And if you did like our content, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or this YouTube series so that way we can keep giving you more content and sharing you more knowledge around how to scale your sales online. And if you are wanting to boost your sales online, please sign up to our e-sales school where you will learn to automate and navigate your way around in this digital marketplace. Thank you so much once again. I really appreciate you joining in today. And remember to keep selling, keep having fun, and keep being you.